Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.CA. This car really doesn't need much of an introduction. We have a 1987 Ferrari Testarossa. So a bedroom wall photo, a poster photo for many boys and I suppose girls my age who grew up mostly in the 80s. This one is a 1987, and as you see, it's got the exterior mirrors on both sides, and it does have the hub, so it doesn't have a 5-bolt pattern on the wheels, indicating it's an earlier Testarossa. The first model here was 85, and 4.9 liter flat 12 engine. It's mated to a 5-speed manual here with a gated shifter right below me here. And what we'll do is we'll start it up. Then we'll cut this video. Then I'll move over and take the video camera by hand. We'll have a listen to the engine and the exhaust. And then we'll do our little tour of the exterior. So this one is going to be lot 243. On CollectorCarCanada.CA, 1987 Ferrari Testarossa with under 14,000 miles. This is a U.S. car. It's been in Canada over 20 years, and today the odometer reads 13,750. So it's going to its new owner with under 14,000 miles. So here we go with a start. All right, so no problem at all with the start. As you might expect, you can see snow in the picture. The car's been stored for 2 or 3 months now since its most recent service, which was an engine out belt service and a new clutch. So that's all within the past couple of 100 miles. We have the work order for that work on the detailed listing. Again, lot 243. But yeah, so a low mileage car, under 14,000 miles. Take a look at the work order for that. I haven't reviewed it in detail yet, but I think it's in and around the $20,000 range. So maintenance is done. It's ready for its new owner. So yeah, so we'll move over and we'll have a listen to the engine and then start the exterior and interior tour. Okay, so we have the engine cover up now, and we'll go in and take a closer listen to it. You can hear the car idling right now. Before we go in, I'll remind people it's a 4.9 liter TPO engine. It's a flat 12, and it's mated to a 5-speed transmission with the gated shifter. So let's move in and have a closer listen. And we'll get a listen also to the exhaust. There's twin exits on both sides. So I'll do a little walk around of the car with the engine still idling. You can hear how it resonates in a 360 pattern. So you can see those strakes. Of course, they're functional. You can see that's a big intake for the engine. And I was just researching these cars recently, and I mean, this has been a bedroom wall poster for a guy my age who grew up mostly in the 80s. And those strakes, of course, are a very dramatic look, and something with which I'm very familiar, having dreamt of these cars almost my whole life. But I just read how the actual strakes are, as much as anything, a safety feature because the regulators wouldn't allow big openings like this without the strakes. So it is ironic how something that started out as a safety feature became such an amazing design feature. And of course, Testarossa is Italian for red head, and it's referring to this red on the head of the engine you see on each side. So 6 over here and 6 over here for the flat 12. 4.9 liter Tipo. So I'll cut the video now and we'll move towards an exterior tour with the engine not running. Okay, so an exterior tour of the 1987 Ferrari Testarossa, under 14,000 miles, and it's lot 243 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. So the sun has just dipped below the horizon. You can see there's not direct sunlight on the car. We have several videos as well as many photos of the car in direct sunlight. So please take a look at those on the detailed listing. Again, lot 243. And here, as we say farewell to the sun for another day, we'll take a closer look at this 1987 Ferrari Testarossa. So getting close on areas where we might be, where the car might be prone to flaws, I don't even notice a single stone chip, certainly on the red paint, but even the black spoiler down below is quite clean. I suppose it might have touched a surface there, but pretty minor looking. And you can see this intake here is clean as well. And looking closely at these light lenses, they look very clean as well. We do have a short little video of the car's retractable headlights coming up and going back down. So you can check those out on the detailed listing. And then as we work our way to the wheels and tires here. So getting close here to the sides, you can see that's front one's a 225 50 R16 Goodyear Eagle VR50. I'm going to check with the owner. This detail will be in our detailed listing, but I believe these to be the original tires. Certainly, Goodyear Eagle VRs were OEM tires on an 87 Testarossa. So take a look at our detailed listing for that information. You can also see that, I mentioned this earlier, how it's a single hub in the center to remove the wheel. So not your basic 5-bolt system that you might be used to, and which you see later on in the Testarosa's development after 87. And right there's the size of the wheel. It's an 8-inch wide by 16-inch diameter wheel rim. Important to note that these are not TRX wheels and tires. They're more the standard, I guess I'll call it North American setup, but not TRXs. So a lot easier to find replacement tires. So here are the rear. Here's a picture of the rear. Staggered setup. You can see the rim. There's the Ferrari emblem. And you can see that it's a 10-inch wide rim here in the rear. Eagle VR50s. And Here's a look at the size. So they're 255s here in the rear. So as they say, a staggered setup. So there's a good look at those. Um, 85 and 86 Testarossas, you'd see a single mirror. This one is equipped with mirrors on either side of the exterior, a good aerodynamic design on them. And then there's the strakes I was mentioning before. It really is a fascinating thing for me that they're as much for safety as for design. The origin is more in the safety end of it. Got the windows down. US spec car, I think I mentioned earlier. So you can see these are the US spec headlight or safety belts at the time. So you can see that power comes across. We'll have a little bit of write-up about that on the detailed listing. And then here's a nice Pininfarina emblem to remind us who the designer of the car is. Very common for a Ferrari, especially in the 1980s. When we were doing our detailed photos, we also took note that every pane of glass has this Sigla emblem as well as a Ferrari emblem. I'm not sure if the windshield actually has this, but otherwise they do. But all of them are Sigla branded. So I suspect original glass at all 6 panes, but if not, certainly it's been replaced with OEM. There's a good look at the fuel door. Yeah, we have pictures of it opening on the detailed listing as well as what's underneath. You can see this is the opening for the engine compartment, and that the fuel neck gets exposed when that cover comes up. Working our way around. It's a cold day here, but I can feel a little bit of heat coming off the engine. You can see this ventilation is with the interest of cooling that engine with the 4.9 liter V12. A beautiful Ferrari emblem here on the deck, and then the prancing horse in the rear, where there's also vent work to let the air keep flowing. And beneath these strakes, we see the tail lights and a Testarossa emblem up there on the top of the cover. So we've got the twin exits on either side of the license plate there, and a little bit more of a strake work under there. But even that rear fascia is nice and clean. That red paint looks really good. Now I can't see quite what the camera is seeing right now because I've got it lower than my eyes, but nice clean condition. We also have some underside photos on the detailed listing, so you can have a look at those as well. Another neat feature of these period Ferraris, I noted this on the 308 we have, as well as the 348 we sold a couple months back. It's got the curved rear glass. So that's a really neat piece. And again, I mentioned earlier, it's Sigla branded with the Ferrari emblem up there as well. There's the Ferrari emblem. And I'm not sure if the camera can see that Sigla emblem, but I can see it with my naked eye. Working our way around, another Eagle VR50 here on the rear on the 255. Matching Pininfarina badge on the quarter here. Nice clean glass. I've got the windows down. We can see inside to that beautiful tan interior. And yeah, I don't know. There really isn't that much to say about such a beautiful car, and in wonderful condition. The only flaws I've seen, other than those mentioned, one being there where the front air dam looks to have touched. There's a tiny little depression over here that I don't think the camera is going to see. We did our best to take a photo of it, a few photos of it actually, with a toonie for perspective sake, but I don't think the video camera is going to pick it up. And then there's another tiny dimple right here. I think the video camera is picking that one up. I have a toonie in my pocket, so I'll just put that beside the dimple, and you can get a sense of the perspective in terms of the size. So pretty small when it's measured up next to that tuning. So we'll Well, I'm going to cut the camera now. We've got a diesel truck running around here, and we'll move over to the interior. Okay, the guys with the diesel truck have put in their honest day's work, and they're on their way. So, uh, yeah, I think that wraps up for the exterior. We'll take a look now at the interior. It's always kind of fun. The 348 we sold a couple months back was somewhat similar. The door latch is quite hidden, but when you put your hand down there, it's quite intuitive. Sounds like we've still got the key in the ignition, so I'll remove that to get rid of that buzzing sound. And there's a little snow on my shoes, so I don't think I need to. I don't think I need to climb right in. So I'll just sit here on the rocker, between the rocker and the seat, and we'll get a good look at this interior. So door card, really nice. The darker brown carpet down below with the tan leather. And I did track in a tiny bit of snow there. But the good news is this darker brown mat with the prancing horse, it's actually protecting the proper factory floor mat. And then underneath, it's super clean under there. We took those out when we did the detailed photos, so you can see how clean it really is down there. I got to make sure to get that snow taken out before we put the car away for the day, which is coming up soon. We're starting to lose daylight. But I'm not noticing any shrinking of the leather on the dash, which these are somewhat prone to. With the low mileage, this car has probably led a pretty pampered life. Here's a good look at the odometer. So today it reads 13,750 in miles. Again, a U.S. market car. And so this car is going to go to its new owner under 14,000 miles, certainly. And if I pan out, you can see the three-spoke steering wheel with the prancing horse emblem in the center, in the hub, where there is a horn. I think I showed this, so maybe it was in our demo video, but the headlights are operated with this stock, and then this one here is your turn signals, as you'd expect, and wipers over on the stock on the right side of the steering column. And as we work our way into the center, the car has a removable faceplate head unit. It's not in place, so you can see that's where it goes. But the nice thing is when the car is parked, you can flip that down and can't even see the radio. So there's a clock in there. I don't have the car running, so it's not illuminated, and a couple of more gauges in addition to the oil temp and water temp gauges in between the speedometer and tach. I should mention that the speedometer maxed out at 200 miles per hour, and the 10,000 RPM tach has a red line of about 6750 there, just short of 7,000. And there's the thing of beauty that all the Ferrari brethren love, the gated shifter. So dog leg with the 5-speed manual, and you can see the pattern there. It's labeled on the shift knob. HVAC controls in the center, as well as 4-way flashers and some more lighting, parking lights, and a simple center console. And these relate to those US spec seat belts, common certainly in the day. But all in all, this tan interior really does present well. The one flaw I did find, well, I suppose there are two. They're just very close together. That's why I associate one with the other. So there's a mark here on the driver's seat, and there's a similar but smaller mark here on the housing for the parking brake. Now you can see this little pouch. Ordinarily, the owner's manual attaché slides into there. We had it out though because we took some photos of some of the contents for the detailed listing, so you can take a look at the documentation we have there. And not much space in behind, but you can see what we do have here is very clean with the darker carpet over the tan interior. So the front compartment is released up here, and maybe we could take a quick look at that. And you can see a speaker down here as well. So I think that about wraps up our tour. The two seats, and you can see the Ferrari embossing on the headrest there. Quite a nice touch. And even the headliner looks nice and clean. So yeah, that's a good look at the interior. Now we'll move to some closing thoughts. Okay, for our closing thoughts, I wanted to show you the car with the headlights up. It looks just as great with them up as down. And one thing you don't see in too many cars with the retractable headlights is the two lights on each side. So again, this one is lot 243 on CollectorCarCanada.CA, 1987 Ferrari Testarossa with under 14,000 miles, 4.9 liter flat 12 engine. I don't think I've mentioned the horsepower rating. The factory rating for horsepower on this car was 385 horsepower. So quite substantial for the 80s, and even not sluggish by today's standards. So 385 horsepower, and the 5-speed manual with the gated shifter gets the power to the rear wheels. So that's a look at our lot 243 87 Ferrari Testarossa. Thanks for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car.